Good evening, all, and welcome to the second episode of the Huddy Hui this week, episode 52. And it's a blustery, wet, and windy and cold Friday night. And in spite of the rain and thunder and tornadoes and all that we've had in the Wellington region, apparently we're going to have some better rugby and weather for our opening rounds, our round 11 matches tomorrow afternoon. So, more importantly, let's introduce our guest for tonight. This young man is a star. He's in his first season of Huddy Boys Marist playing at fullback. Zane Ainslie is our guest on the Huddy Hui tonight. Many thanks for coming on the Hui tonight, Zane. You've got Upper Hutt this Saturday, which in the last few years for Huddy Boys Marist has been a bit of a bogey team of late. What are your expectations of the game tomorrow, and who are the players that you want to look out for when you play Upper Hutt?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me on, first of all. Yeah, it's going to be. I've heard it's going to be a big game. It's two very big rival clubs. The players that I know off heart that we need to watch out for straight away is the Toby Crosby at number 8 if he's playing tomorrow. I haven't looked at their team sheet, but I know that he's definitely a bit of a beast. And we have the Svensson brothers, if I pronounce that right. And every time I verse them, they can run you off the park. They're monsters on and off the field. So there's definitely going to be a big game, and it's who makes the less mistakes. Hopefully will take out the game.
Well, the conditions are set to improve, and you're right about Toby Crosby. We had him on 2 episodes ago. He is a real find. He scored that stellar try in the final last year. But the Svensson brothers, of course, both went through St. Pat's Silverstream. Todd, of course, played for Huddy Boys Marist alongside Josh Brown in 2020. They made the move from Upper Hutt. Probably was a bad look because Huddy Boys lost that year to Upper Hutt.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about the Svensson boys and Josh Brown, obviously because I'm there now, and they've been saying how they want to try and scout them back into their club. So they're obviously very, very key players, and I've versed Svensson before at college and now at Prem level, and Todd especially, his work rate is unreal. He's definitely a key player that we need to shut down early and not let him get those line breaks.
Well, they've come close a few times this season. They've just fallen short against some other big sides as well. Let's look at your early career. You were the X-Men last year, and you had only 8 minutes of rugby, and then you suffered an injury at the start of the season. What happened at your time at the X-Men?
Yeah, so we had a real big pre-season. I didn't know what I was going to do with my rugby at that time, and I had a chat with a few people, and they said, "Hey, look, the X-Men are looking quite bright, and there's Isaac Bracewell, who's a star player on and off the field." So we had a big pre-season there. Got into our fitness, got into our physicality. We were all ready. And unfortunately, we had Pornicki on the first game, who they're my bluff team. So every time I verse them, I have a bit of an injury or a bad game. I don't know why, but we versed them, and a kick missed touch, and Parkai ran it back, gave it to that Greg Foy, and after 18 minutes, that was my season, unfortunately.
Yeah, and of course, you made the move out to the Huddy Boys Marist Eagles this year. What inspired your move out to the Hutt recreational ground?
So I've heard a lot about the club, but my main reason, and all good things, they're a very family-orientated club. They're always positive, no matter what the score is at the end of the day, and they're very competitive, which is something I kind of want to be behind. But my brother, or my best friend, Oakley Wilson Tiltil, he was at the club the year that I was at Paraplum, and he'd call me after the trainings and after the games, and he'd be bouncing, and he'd be so happy about the training and the environment at the club, and it was a no-brainer really. I always really thought about going there, and I actually did the pre-season at Huddy Boys before going to X-Men. So I already intended on going to that club, and then went to do the year at the X-Men just to see how that went. and then obviously broke my arm, and then it was a bit of a no-brainer to go back to the club, to be honest.
Of course, you've got the coaching duo of Kent Harris and Simon Dodd. What's the impact of them as coaches on your game?
Oh, well, like, first of all, I just love how I can go up to them, and it's not, they don't really lie about how you played. They're very honest and critical on how you played. So if you had a good game, they'll tell you had a good game, but they help you improve by telling you the fine things that you need to work on. Just to get, because I've had a couple chats with them, and they're thinking about going to the next level in rugby. So when I have a chat with them, they're thinking about what would I be able to do in the pro situation, you know. So they kind of give me a few tips and tricks, and you know, because they're very, very good coaches, and they help me with the small details on how to improve my game, which is like no other. I haven't had it before.
Who are some of the other key influences at the club, particularly in the playing group?
It would have to be the leadership group. So you've got Brandon Lawson, who I actually intended to go under because of he's a Kapiti college boy as well. So we're trying to take over that club. But you've got the likes of Jordan Gillies and Matt Sleeth, Ben Power, you know, just people that you can learn, and Will Dua is another one, you know, people you can learn different tricks off to improve your game.
And of course, this season, you've started off, with pretty amazing stats already. 8 tries this season, the leading try scorer alongside Akusio Tuitama, Nico Patasio and Ruben Va'a, and also 5th on the points board overall. You're a bit of try scoring machine, Zane.
Oh, I get all the cherry on top kind of tries. I don't really have to work for them that much. It's the forwards that do all the work for me.
And of course, I called one of your games on Huddy Sports, which was against Tawa, and you scored what was a 90-metre intercept try against the runner play, and that's probably the best I've seen Huddle boys play for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the mentality we've gone under this year is trying to have the Mamba mentality, trying to be like the Kobe Bryant, you know, and just work every other team off the field and just have that mentality of not giving up. And it's been kind of drilled into us from the get-go. So, you know, the games like Tawa, where you're versing players who are just physically and mentally strong as, you have to find a way to beat them. And I feel like that game, we were there to protect the nest, which is the Huddle Boys' home ground. But that was probably our best performance as a team. You know, we were all up for it. We were all ready in the changing rooms, and mentally we were switched on. So I feel like that is probably our best performance of the year so far.
2 tough losses so far. We don't have to mention them, the McBain Shield and Paniki. What have you and the team learnt from those 2 games, the lessons you can take on throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, they were tough losses, actually. And I think the thing, because we have a very big pack and some rapid backs, but the thing that we have realised is it's an 80-minute game. You can't be, and like McBain, it goes longer than that. But it's not a game that you can win in 10 minutes, and it's not a game you'll win in the last 5 minutes, you know, like we have to be able to stick out the whole 80 minutes. And like the coaches have drilled into us in the past, we have to make less mistakes. And unfortunately against Petone and Pūneke, I feel like we were ahead for a lot of that time, but it was key little plays that actually let us down.
What's your highlight of the season so far?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I would say that intercept try against Tawa. I was very nervous playing that game. Actually, it's my first ever time playing at the Nest. So I'd never played there before, even at my old clubs or anything. So I was very, very nervous. But as soon as I kind of got that, I was like, okay, you know, game on. It's time to switch on now. So
let's wind back the clock even further. You were born in England. What made the move out to New Zealand at the age of 7?
So my dad came over here to find work initially, and so all of my family's back overseas in England and Wales, and I think it's the lifestyle that my mum and dad wanted to get me and my younger brother, make us grow up on that lifestyle, because over there you couldn't really walk to school by yourself or barefoot like we did over here, because it was freezing cold and you'd probably get lost. But over here, just dad came over maybe a year before, and he saw the little towns and stuff like that, because he started in Upper Hutt at the prison, and he just saw the lifestyle that everyone lives out here, and I think he just wanted a change, and he wanted me and my brother to have the best lifestyle growing up.
Cool, that's an amazing story. In particular, also you made your way up to the Kapiti Coast, and you mentioned your former school, Kapiti College. Let's talk about that 2017 season. You got into the Wellington First 15 Premiership, and you caused one of the big upsets of all time over Rongotai College.
Yeah, so I wasn't in that first 15. Unfortunately for me, I had a player that was better than me, and I was kind of in and out of the first 15 into the seconds, and I didn't make a solid start until my last year of college. But I was lucky to be involved in one of those Rongotai games at KC where, we were just so much smaller than them. Like, these were people, like students with beards in college, and tattoos and that. And we were like, I think we had one Samoan in our whole team, and that was my best friend. So, it was pretty scary playing teams like that. And I feel like at Hutt Old Boys, because we were always smaller, we had to be a lot more aggressive in our tackles and that. So situations like that where you'd come up against those stream colleges, and unfortunately we never actually got to beat the stream first 15. But games like where we knew we could take Rongotai if we man up. That was definitely one of the biggest games I played at college.
I do apologise. It's my dog back in the background. So often does this on the Huddy Hui. But also your coach, Matt Tooman, was quite influential on you, and he dragged you out to the Hammerheads in 2019 to Parramatta Plymoughton. What's your experience like out there at Ngāti Toa?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of us Kapiti College. I came back from the UK in 2019, so I instantly went and thought I'd play with my mates coming straight back, because most of us Kapiti boys went to Parramatta Plymoughton, and Mark Tooman, he's a great coach. He's very honest with all us Kapiti boys, which keeps us all in line. So instantly I thought, let's go there and do a under 21 Colts year. And we had a strong team. It's just some of us didn't take it as seriously as others, so sometimes the results didn't go our way. But just playing with all the Kapiti and Purirua boys was a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Of course, you mentioned about 2019. There was a connection with Plymouth College, and you end up playing for the Wells under 18s. Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, so Mark Tooman's eldest son, he went over the year before me or 2 years before me, and he played hooker over there and just ripped it up. And we were fortunate enough for them to come over in the first place, and we were the only school that beat them, I believe. So they kept in contact, Mark Tooman and the Plymouth College coach, and he said, we'll get some of your boys over here to, play and get the experience of English rugby. So he went over at first, and then I think a few years later they asked for a first 5 fullback. They needed one, and as soon as he told me, I was like, yeah, I'll be 100% keen on it. And then the year of 2018, after I'd finished my year at Kapiti College, my last year, I went over there and played 15s and 7s, and then came back over.
So if you had the opportunity, Zane, England or Wales?
Oh, I hope my parents aren't listening, because I'll get a bit of a beating for this. Yeah, I actually wouldn't know really. Going at the moment, they're pretty even teams, but I'd have to say Wales.
Yeah. No,
I'd want to beat England. I know how prestigious and good they are at rugby, so I want to beat them.
It's got one of the best stadiums and also some of the best singers in the world do the Welsh. Of course, you're pretty handy at some other codes involving the oval ball as well, rugby league and touch.
Yeah, so I've kind of grown up with playing touch and tag as well, and even league. It would usually be a game on Saturday, rugby union, and then a game of league on Sunday. So it's kind of us Carpety boys. We always grew up with a ball in our hand in some way or another.
What's your preferred position this season? You're playing at fullback. Would you rather play fullback or first five?
So I used to think first five was my position, but I feel like over the years, the way I've kind of trained and allowed like growth in my game, I think 15 would be my position nowadays. Yeah. I definitely prefer it.
Of course, Huddy boys, fourth on the table, 35 points. This is one of the tightest Swindale Shields for a number of years. And Huddy boys, you've got Upper Hutt tomorrow, but you've got quite a tough ride home. You've got Johnsonville midweek. That's a catch-up game due to the recent isolations. And also you've got OBU and Marist St. Pat's. It's a tough ride home. But what is the plans around those? Are you looking to just keep a consistent game plan, or have you been watching these other teams quite carefully?
Yeah, I think we're trying to just go game by game, really. I know like Kent and Doddsy have mentioned, Simon Dodd have mentioned it a few times that we have got a big couple of fixtures coming up, and especially the MSP and OBU. But I think right now where we're sitting at the table, we just need to play it game by game, and we have looking at teams individually and, seeing who we need to shut down early. And it's just at the, like you said, it's just such a close Swindale Shield that you can't really sleep on any teams. You can't really use your B side, against a worse team or a team that's striving less. But we just need because if you were to sleep on a team in this grade, you can get beat 50-0 with the talent that's out there. So I think we're just trying to take it, game by game, and that week we'll prep properly and see who's going to be our best, starting 15 to do the job, really. What's
your future representative chances? What do you want to achieve with your rugby career? And is the door open for possibly overseas ventures as well?
Yeah, so I want to just take, so Brandon Lawson's been a perfect example of someone who is just patient, and I kind of want to take his kind of path. I don't really want to rush into anything. I just want to enjoy my rugby and kind of see how far it goes, really. But I've always dreamed of playing a professional game of rugby, and even whether that just be one Lions game, and then that's my dream come true, or just take it as far as I can, really. And I just want to take rugby as far as possible because I've always trained it, I've always thought it, so some way or another I want to be involved professionally, whether if it doesn't work out, be a coach or something. So I want to try and play for my country, hopefully one day, whether that be New Zealand, Wales or England, or see how far it goes.
Well, Zane, that has been a fantastic segment we've had tonight on your rugby career to date. All the best for your game against Upper Hutt up at Maidstone. You'll get used to probably changing in the old containers up there. And you have a professional referee on for your game tomorrow, and Mike Fraser.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Honestly, the referees this year have been outstanding, to be fair. But having a professional referee who can put everyone in their place, especially against someone as cheeky as our team, will be it'll be pretty good.
Especially Jordan Gillies. So
yeah, you got the likes of Jordan Gillies and Matt Sleep who like to play with the refs a bit just to see how far they can get away with. But it'll be good for them to have a professional referee to tell them to zip it.
Yeah. Well, Zane, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui tonight. All the best for tomorrow and the rest of the season.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
That's the Huddy Hui for tonight. We're looking forward to round 11 action of the Swindale Shield and also the third round of the first 15 competition. There's been a few ground changes, but no doubt we're going to get some rugby in. So we'll be back next week.